Morning, welcome to the show. It's We Are Live, Chris Denman live in St. Louis, the Midcoast Studio, St. Louis, Missouri. The neighborhood's called Grand Center. It's an arts district. You should respect that. Good morning, everybody. I'm joined in studio by the lovely intern, Tommy, the intern. That's his government name. Joining us live from Brooklyn, New York, Marvis Morell. Good morning, Marvis.
Oh. Namaste.
Okay. Now he's gotten some sleep. He's not cranky today, and he's live from a PF Chang's. How are you feeling today? You get some rest?
I'm live from inside a bodega this week. You can change that title underneath. I decided to visit one of the many bodegas that I'm surrounded by and decided to do the show from there today. So I'm actually live from a bodega in Brooklyn.
What's the nudie magazine situation at bodegas these days?
People don't have nudie magazines anymore?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. I feel like they would.
When was the last time you saw a nude magazine? When was the last time you held an adult magazine?
I'm not in New York. I'm not at a bodega.
Wait, what?
Where
Hold on, Tommy.
They like classic nudes.
That's not how it works. They don't even have neon signs for that anymore. Tommy, you said last week.
It's
Can
not
you explain?
important. It's not important.
Oh, boy.
The producer of the show, and he demands that he's announced last for his dramatic entry, Chris Gardner, everybody. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, gentlemen, here in St. Louis, the Mountain City, the Gateway City. And screw you, you East Coast elitist in Brooklyn, New York. No, I meant hello, Travis. I'm just joking. Sorry. Sometimes this simple hayseed hillbilly from just a baseball town don't know how to say hello properly to the big folks in the big city. Good morning, Walnuts, as well.
Morning indeed.
Hey, Walnuts.
Travis did spark some controversy posting in the Friends of WAL group, just looking for a fight. We'll get to that in a little bit.
That's what it seemed like.
No,
I will
of course.
say
He's
that.
bored.
Because I get in those moods too, Travis. So I'm not going to...
I could just let that hornet's nest just stay there, but it'd be fun if I threw a rock at it.
We can get into it later about right or wrong with certain parts of statements and reading, splitting hairs on words. But I understand being in one of those moods where you're not going to back down and just no matter what, you're all in.
Can I be perfectly clear, though, that I'm absolutely right?
Name a point in the last 4 years that you wouldn't believe in your own heart and mind that you weren't absolutely right on. Just name one.
I was probably a little bit over the top with the Twitter outage, Matt. That'll probably be the only time that.
But how appropriate that you
that
called
I can
it a
say
Twitter
legitimately
outrage.
that I was.
What about Magic Johnson and John Mozeliak?
I don't know. That might actually be true now. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It's still not true.
I feel like the wave still find its way back to proving that I was probably correct in that assessment.
No,
but I'm willing to.
That's 3 times we've gone back and forth on this. You've apologized twice, and then it goes back your way for a moment, and then, see, I was right. No, that's not. Yeah, what are you going to do?
So you still believe Magic Johnson should take over for John Mozeliak for the Cardinals?
I think it's becoming perfectly clear that Magic was sabotaged as the president of the Los Angeles Lakers, and currently your St. Louis Cardinals sit a game under 500 after less than 3 weeks ago being 11 games over 500.
You said
I believe they are 5-16 in their last how many ever games that totals up to?
21.
There we go.
I like how you were looking for words to buy yourself time to do that math in your head at the same time. That was you had the smirk going too. You kind of saw that very well.
Didn't the Blues do really terrible the first half of their season?
Don't do that, Tommy.
Just don't do that. All right.
I'll say this real quick. What I don't like is when I hear like Adam Wainwright referencing 2011. I hate when players start doing that. Yeah. I always say this. 2011 was unique. It was special because of how that happened. It's not a trend. It's not a regular occurrence. Don't keep looking to 2011 and what happened there for what you think is going to happen again. It's not supposed to happen all the time.
Hey guys, I struck a nerve.
Sorry. We'll get into whatever.
It's almost as if you're reacting as if you're a part of a baseball town.
Well, this is a baseball town. It's not just a baseball
But
town.
we also enjoy hockey.
Well, yeah, you guys also enjoy ranch on your pizza and
I don't.
DUIs,
I
but
mean,
you're a
hey,
baseball
Hey,
town.
you're getting awfully personal with those two things
Has
right
anybody?
there.
Nobody in this. Never mind.
I mean, I've never.
And I
thi-
challenge you, if you would have hung out in St. Charles County more, that you would have been in more trouble than you have been in the
This is
past.
very true. This
So,
is
calm
very
down,
true. I was well
fella.
on my way. That's a good point.
His first day there at the old radio station, there was one member of an entire radio station ticketed in St. Charles. Travis Terrell received that ticket that day. At one of two black people at the station happened to catch a ticket the first day in St. Charles.
In the radio station parking lot.
Yeah, how's that celebrity working out for you now, Marvis? God,
Where you
dang.
going? I work here. Sure you do. Sure
right.
you do.
Right, I don't.
Nice
doesn't
try,
look like
pal.
doesn't look like a hip hop station to me, Bucko. Uh-huh.
Well, that ain't 95 to beat. No, it is not.
Yeah.
So let's circle back real quick that somebody who just couldn't do the math on 5 and 16, hard point on the word and phrase like economics in his arguments throughout the last few days. I just want to point that out real quick. So just beware of phrasing.
I understand who my opponents are. So if I know that my opponent is going to use economics as their focal point in their argument, then it's important for me to use those same numbers to counter that argument. And my point being is that based on the economy, the revenue that the city generates or relies on, it comes from baseball.
What's the
If you were to
percentage?
remove that element, if you were to remove any percentage, if you remove the
But
St.
what's
Louis
the
Cardinals
percentage?
from
And also,
I would imagine the
No,
hotels,
I mean, what's the number?
restaurants. Well, I'm not going to give you just a random number for you to then go back and check
Oh,
and
a
say, see,
random
you're
number.
not
So you're
right.
saying you don't know what that number is.
I think we can ballpark it.
Can you?
I think it's safe that we can ballpark it. Absolutely. We
Hey,
can
Ballpark
certainly
it.
You
ballpark
get
it.
that
I think we
joke?
can.
Did you even get
Oh,
that
I see
mid-joke?
what I did there, Tom.
I mean, in terms
Yeah,
of the
that
city
was a-
budget, I mean, the majority of that money comes not from any. I mean, it comes from taxes.
I mean, baseball.
Of course,
does
it
do a
definitely comes from
big
taxes,
part.
but Tommy's right. No, Tommy's exactly right. He knows the role that St. Louis baseball plays when
Oh,
it
yeah.
comes to the St. Louis area, and of course, certainly the
Mhm.
downtown region. So,
Mhm.
based on that, if you were to remove that element, if you were to say take baseball away from St. Louis,
Yeah.
my question to Gaines and everyone inside the Friends of All page was, what is then St. Louis? And no one could give me an answer as to what is then St. Louis if you remove professional baseball from the city.
Yeah, it's hard to answer, just because you don't know. Something would find.
But there it is. But the fact that it's hard to answer should
Mhm.
illustrate my point that what else is St. Louis besides baseball? And the fact that you find it difficult to answer makes my point.
No,
that
but
St. Louis,
something-
in fact, is a baseball town.
No, but a town's always going to have an identity, so something else would just replace that. What replaces it, I don't know what that is. There's
given the
always
population
But
surrounding
other-
this,
there's never
other
a
cities
town
can
is
say
never
that.
not going to have an identity. So that's a given. That's a fact. So if you take that away, something else just steps in. What that might be, that's hard to tell because you don't know what's going to try to bring up economics, take over economically, or find its way down there. That's hard to answer without. I don't even know how you run a predictor or try to facilitate what factors in that can make that happen or what it might be. I just don't know.
Well, what's the second biggest thing in St. Louis? It would probably be that, right?
Not
Thank you.
necessarily.
That's my next question. What is the second best big thing in St. Louis? What else then drives the people and the economy in St. Louis outside of baseball?
I mean, maybe the Arch, but that's a
What?
stretch.
No,
that's
see,
it's a national park.
but you're looking
See?
you're
Then
looking
you-
at like entertainment thing. An entertainment thing might not be the thing that drives it.
Right. I mean,
and that's what
certainly a
the
good
Cardinals
thing.
are.
But the fact that you can't identify that, the fact that you can't readily identify what would be the next thing that steps into its place,
Right.
illustrates my point even further, is that it's just a baseball town.
No, I don't think it does at
The
all.
city of St. Louis, but I think the city doesn't spend as much money on anything else outside of baseball as they spend on the St. Louis Cardinals. They don't spend that much on the arts. They don't spend that much on the
Oh, I don't know
parks.
about
They don't
that.
spend that much on education. They don't spend
No,
not
there's
as
more.
much as
There's
they do
more
at the St.
spent at
Louis
Forest Park than
Cardinals.
there is at Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean,
What
when you
art-
say the arts, Travis, like you're really casting a wide net. You got to think about how many concerts,
The
how
museums.
many, everything that you're
Based
putting
on
into
the
that.
money, I'm saying compare that though. Compare those numbers to the money that is spent specifically on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
It pales in comparison.
No, it does
It's
not.
literally a huge.
That's wrong.
It's a huge gap between
No,
the two.
that's
The money
wrong.
you're telling me,
That's
the money
simply
that people.
wrong.
So you're
Show
telling
me
me
the fucking
for
numbers
the money
then.
that's.
8
I'm
years
talking
ago,
about
Gardner
already-
lost it.
You're talking over almost 3 months worth of home games at Busch Stadium. That revenue alone generates millions upon millions of dollars,
I
more than you will see from the
understand
Muni,
simple
more than you
numbers.
would see from
I
Forest
added
Park.
for you.
So I'm saying is, what other entity in the city of St. Louis generates the mass amount of revenue as the St. Louis Cardinals do?
I
mean,
don't
there's
know
a
what
bunch of
that would
companies-
be.
there's a
Yeah,
bunch of
I don't.
companies
I'd
that
have to
probably
look.
Well, there's a bunch of companies, and you can't readily identify it.
Do you need
so
me to pull
to
up a
that
Fortune
point,
500 list?
it's
I mean,
just
it's
a
click
baseball
away.
team. But you can't. But here's the thing: is, and to my point to the tweet, everyone after or when the Blues made the Stanley Cup, all of a sudden it's not just a baseball town.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't just a baseball town, why did then all those people wait 4 years after the Rams left? Why did they wait till the Blues made the Stanley Cup Finals to say that you're more than just a baseball town? The fact that you had to wait for a team that hadn't made the Stanley Cup in 50 years to say that you're just not a baseball town illustrates the point that you are indeed just a baseball town.
Well, it's the
And
only
just
real-
because the Blues have now recent success doesn't now mean that it's no longer just a baseball town. So I don't know how people have come to that conclusion based off nothing.
Because this isn't the first time they've said that.
Yeah, I was going to say this is just an extremely
This is just another
an
time
open.
they've said that.
This is
It's not the first.
It's a giant platform with a major sports franchise that they're going to say, "Oh, hey, we're here for the Blues too. We've been here for the Blues for the past however many years." And
Yeah.
I mean, they support the shit out of them, given the mediocre to below mediocre history.
They
that
support the
have.
Blues when they're good, and that's just how sports works. When something is good, yeah, you're going to support it. So far this season, as I pointed out in the thread, the St. Louis Blues finished 17th in attendance. So when the Blues were sucking, people didn't show up.
They're
So
literally
the
the worst
idea
team in the
that
league.
St. Louis Blues, they were, and then guess what? People weren't showing up. So when people say, "Oh, we support the Blues when things are tough," no, you don't. Those numbers don't support that.
The last
But
50
when the
years do,
Cardinals
though.
struggle, the Blues,
not
when the
let-
Blues are struggling, their attendance reflects it. When the Blues are doing well, they're in the top 10 in attendance. When the Blues are not doing well, guess what? They're not even in the top 15. When the Cardinals are doing poorly, the Cardinals are always in the top 5 in attendance.
Let the Cardinals
Look
go
at it
bad
right
for
now.
10
The Cardinals
years.
are 20. The Cardinals are 26 and 27. They've had the most miserable month perhaps in franchise history, and they're currently second in attendance.
Right.
So then how can you then turn around and say you're not just a baseball town when your baseball team hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years?
But we're looking at 20.
They're struggling this year. They don't have a marquee player, or at least a marquee player that's performing on a marquee level.
We have Paul Goldschmidt. He's marquee.
And he's been struggling. Let's just say
2
that
months
he
in,
hasn't been.
which is what he did
But I'm
last
saying
year.
though. But I'm saying is the Cardinals
Don't keep putting these
have-
qualifiers
they're
in
not-
there. Either make a point or don't.
The fact of the matter is the Cardinals suck ass and they're second in attendance.
Okay.
When the
Now
Blues
that's a
suck ass,
recent
no one showed up
phenomenon.
at Enterprise.
That's a recent phenomenon.
A month ago, they were the best team in the league.
Here's
so
the deal.
You gotta think
we talk about,
that.
you mentioned sports teams when they're not playing well, they don't attend well. That's how the majority of the seasons have gone for the Cardinals in their history. They never drew over 2 million fans once in the 1970s and into the 1980s.
90s were bad
Barely
for a stretch,
drawing
too.
over 1 million fans at times. Also, in the 90s, it was the same way. I will grant this, baseball town, this is in the past 20 years where that's been branded and sold in baseball heaven. So
Right.
to use something that's it's just a brand. or it's a catchphrase in
It's
a way.
almost, in a
That's
way,
not how
looking down
That's
on
not
our
even
recent
close
success.
to how it's always been here in St. Louis.
But I see his point,
No,
though,
it's
where
not.
it's
No, you
like,
say recent success, Chris. You say that. No, when I said St.
I
Louis
think
was
it's
a baseball
DeWitt's.
town, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it in a negative connotation. I'm saying St.
Yeah.
Louis needs to embrace what they are, and the fact that St. Louis continues to run from that. It looks like the ex-boyfriend who's not over the ex-girlfriend every time you sit up here and something good happens in the city, and the first thing you say is, we're not just a baseball town. You look like a scorned lover. Stop bitching and whining about something that you no longer have
Yeah,
any
but that's
control over.
okay.
You didn't have any control over to begin with. It's 4 years in. Grow up.
No, you don't
Move
get to
on.
decide that. You don't get to decide
Well,
how
and
people
people can-
grieve or how they
people
want to
can-
react to that. That's not for
people
you
can
to
jab
decide.
back to the Deadspin thing's the most fun thing I've ever seen in my life, and then it just kind of burned out. Like Deadspin realized that if they poke at the Cardinals fan base, they're going to get a bajillion clicks and people reacting to stuff. So, I mean, I get it, and it's easy to go. And whenever you back to the recent thing,
I mean, St.
Travis,
Louis-
let the Cardinals be bad for 5 years, even 10 years, then you're going to see horrific attendance. I
I mean,
think.
what was St. Louis before it was a baseball town? Before the DeWitt ownership?
I looked up.
What was it then? I mean, something is always there. You just don't necessarily.
Well, that's my next
identify
point is that St. Louis should embrace being a baseball town.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
fine.
there are other qualifiers that I don't think St. Louisans would appreciate, like continuously having the highest STD rates, continues to
Yeah.
consider one of the most segregated cities in the country. So I'm saying is either you embrace being a baseball town, or there are some other descriptors that don't necessarily look flattering upon the city that you could describe St. Louis
I mean,
as.
what
But
You do
about?
that with
I-
every city.
Health and education.
no, you cannot, Chris. Everyone
Would
keeps saying
be
you could do
the
that with
big
any other
things.
city. You
I
can't
could.
do that. Look at other cities. You can literally take hockey away from Nashville, and Nashville will still be a tourist destination.
Yeah.
You take baseball from St. Louis, tourism absolutely takes a drop. You're going to dispute that?
No, it most certainly would, because
Well,
it
it's 40,000
definitely
people not there on a Tuesday
it helps
night.
hotels.
But it would, like
greatly.
any city, will take 40,000 people showing up in a given span.
But
of an area.
if you
The
were
area
to
around
take, as I
Chavez
said,
wouldn't be what it is. It would be something different.
It would still
but
hit.
Los Angeles would still be LA, though. Los Angeles can lose the Dodgers, and they'll still be
Well,
But
LA.
you're
how many
comparing a
people
giant
live there?
city.
See what I'm
I
saying?
said in an area around
Okay.
Chavez Ravine. So take
Well,
the
that's what I
area.
said about that's why I brought up Nashville. I put up something comparative. I said Nashville. You take away hockey from Nashville, which has done wonders for
Hockey.
their economy. But even if you were to take that away, Nashville still can identify to something else. Whereas in
Hockey's
St.
nowhere
Louis, you were to take
near-
away the Cardinals.
Hockey's nowhere near the economic driver for
Yeah,
a
not
city
even
that,
close.
not like we're talking like 3% maybe, as what baseball is. I mean, just the games alone, right? And the amount of people
All
that
right,
go
then take
to
base,
them.
I
take
understand what
baseball,
you're saying,
take
though.
baseball out of cities like Cleveland and Cincinnati. Let's go Cleveland, for example. Take Cleveland. Take away the Indians from Cleveland.
That probably would
Cleveland
be
is
very
still
hurtful
a
to that
thriving
area.
city.
I don't know about
But
that. I
they
mean,
still can identify to so many other things, though, as a city. That's
Like what?
my point
what?
is that when
The
you
Rock
look
and
at
Roll
St.
Hall of
Louis, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
well, we got the blues.
So that's
we
your
got the blues
major-
music Hall of Fame.
What do you associate?
We almost had a Rascal Flats restaurant.
Thank you.
What do
That
you
was close.
associate?
True. Here's the thing. Like before we have this, just a baseball town. I mean, it was a beer town, right? Something always steps in to drive it.
Manufacturing,
There's just
yeah.
I mean, you could look at how cheap and affordable it is to live in St. Louis in the center of the country, where I know the airport's not the best, but it is centrally located, and that has been part of the reason why you have people in the age range of like 25 to 35. Yes, the population has decreased in St. Louis, the city proper, but those numbers are going up in that age range. And not only that, that age range is going up in terms of people with degrees at a considerable amount. So you're getting those people to stick around. A lot of that is driven by some of the tech stuff that's going on here in Cortex. Or,
A lot of it is also driven by cost of living. And as you mentioned, a
what I
lot of
said,
those
yeah.
graduates, when they come out I'm saying to that point, I think you also have to look at that variable more
Right,
than
but
anything
you have to
else.
look
It
at
isn't
where they're
specifically
employed.
just because, right,
Yeah.
that as well. And so also being that a city like St. Louis is very affordable to live in, I can understand why that's also very attractive to most
Right.
recent graduates.
And
So we can, but so I'm saying this as far as what else is driving people to St. Louis, and outside of that, what else can people identify St. Louis as?
See,
That's my
Education
question.
and health.
And my thing is, excuse me?
Education and health. We got all the colleges and we got all the
That's-
hospitals.
It's pretty. I mean, that's a huge industry.
The hospitals, like the children's hospitals, are cutting edge, and the
You're right.
schools
I'm
are
glad you brought that up,
fucking
Tommy.
packed out. Like that's
You know who
yeah.
who in that city has a direct relationship with health and education? St. Louis Cardinals.
Everybody?
Every marketing thing that rolls out by BJC, everything that Mercy rolls out, they have a connection with the St. Louis Cardinals. Education, the St. Louis Cardinals have a direct relationship with every school district in the metro area. I'm saying at the end of the day, when it comes back to it, the St. Louis Cardinals are at the center of the St. Louis's identity.
Yeah, but
and
like-
to run
like
from
that
it is
too.
naive.
The branding.
Yeah, it's
I'll
just
give you
the
that.
health and
branding.
education would be fine without the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We would it would still be fine.
Yeah, you see what the Cardinals medical staff does, Travis. You want to go there?
From the comments, we'll jump to those. Billy Fat Pants letting us know hockey's a niche market to begin with. I agree with that. And there are a lot of naughty nurses on Tinder backing up the healthcare. Boy, that was the truth. 6 years.
We all agree? We all agree?
okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I agree on that one.
And Seth is upset that myself and Tommy look enthused. St. Louis is the soccer capital of the country, despite not having a major pro team
I don't know about
ever, and several failed indoor teams.
That's not true.
They have a
And
robust,
people
they have a robust prep soccer.
People brought that up yesterday, and that's not true. Stop. Again, you're trying to
don't
be
agree
something
with
that
that.
you're not. It's not the soccer capital of the world. And so that's another thing. St. Louisans, they hate to embrace who they are. And in doing so, they like to create these ideas as to what they think they should be. And they're just not. And that's okay. But to deny who you are at its core is silly to me. It's a crazy identity crisis that the city is going through. Embrace the Cardinals.
What?
Be the baseball town.
Yeah,
Be
Aren't
be a baseball town.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I want to make sure I'm clear with this. I'm not disagreeing with you that, and this is, my fear with this conversation was that it would go in circles.
Which it has. Which it has
You said,
for
I
12
don't
minutes.
disagree with you that it's a baseball town. When you say just,
Tommy,
that's,
shut up.
that's
You
all,
don't know
That's
sports.
all I disagree with. That's all I disagree with. And that's it. But yeah, I can embrace it.
Yeah,
Here's what I'll tell you what they don't like, is they don't like a guy going to New York for a month selling out and then all of a sudden telling them who they should be.
That's an interesting, a very interesting point. Yeah.
No, but that was the funny thing about that, because the thing is, everyone who was coming to the defenses,
Yeah.
not one of those people live inside the limits of the city. So that's funny to me that people are so quick to go run and defend St. Louis from
Yeah.
Festus, or they run to go defend St. Louis living all the way out in St. Charles. Half those people, only time they come to St. Louis is for a Cardinals game. They're not in there to check out the restaurants. They're not there to always go to the Arch or go to the park. The only time most people who live in a county come to St. Louis City is to check out the Cardinals. And as soon as the last pitch is thrown, they're on the Highway 40 and they're heading their asses back out to Kirkwood. So it's so funny to hear everybody running so quickly to defend the city of St. Louis and its identity when none of them live within the city limits.
Oh, that's interesting. And I mean, even St. Louis can be parochial itself. We all know that.
Back to the soccer thing. Isn't it true that the prep soccer scene is just insane here? Like tops,
Yeah, it's good, but I
tops
mean,
in the country.
when
I thought
peop-
like top 10 areas.
When people say like it's not even the soccer capital of the United States anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be in like California or
Well,
something.
yeah,
like
just
that.
because the population is going to be insane.
You can go
But-
back on your history, but you know
But
that
isn't
only
St.
says
Louis
so
a
much.
very impressive? I thought it was because of the prep schools and
Yeah, that's good, but
and the
that's
youth
that's
programs?
different than saying soccer capital of the
Oh,
United
yeah,
States.
okay.
That's
Thank you.
very
Thank
much
you.
different.
Yeah, but
Very
Yeah,
good.
you can
it is
acknowledge
correct that it's an exceptional youth
breeding
soccer
ground.
city.
Almost
yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Always
Fine,
has been.
yeah,
That's all I was
okay.
looking for.
But that's different,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that's all I'm saying.
I once scored 3 goals in an indoor soccer game in the Farmington Indoor Soccer League. So don't forget that.
You had
okay,
an
guys?
indoor facility in Farmington?
Yeah, Civic Center, baby. That's where Beyonce and what's her faces played. Oh my God.
Hey, it's Destiny's Child. Don't be disrespectful.
Nelly and Kelly. Guys, we've got Fair or Foul today. Speaking of strong female vocalists, Whitney Houston hologram concert tour is your Fair or Foul topic. Email us, wall@weareliveradio.com. $25 to Anthonino's Taverna is your prize. Where did this come from? Who rooted this out? Is this an intern submission?
Yeah.
Tommy kind of pointed it out to me that the estate of Whitney Houston is easing up on some of the restrictions they've had here recently. and are actually trying to now
I thought I
set up.
saw a Perrier commercial with Whitney Houston selling me something in it. Yeah.
And now that they've done that, they're trying to do like a concert tour
Yeah.
Oh boy.
where hologram Whitney Houston is the feature.
See, this wasn't what I originally wanted it to be called. I wanted it to be called the Dick Cavett hologram tour, but Chris wouldn't let me do that. So that's the Whitney Houston hologram tour. That's it.
Why are we still pushing holograms?
Because an estate can make millions upon millions.
I mean,
of
Like
dollars.
hologram.
But has anyone actually gone to hologram concerts? Like I hear the estate
this room?
projecting what they can make,
I
but has
haven't.
anyone in general, like, has
No.
anyone known anyone to go to? I haven't even seen tickets for a hologram concert. I don't even
Yeah.
know.
No,
who's
I don't.
done
I
one
don't.
so far.
I don't know how it works either. But the concept itself, you're attending a live event, kind of, and it's the music of. I mean, we just had the guys from El Montero in here.
theater.
You could, yeah, it's theater, it's tribute, it's something. So that part's not crazy, especially if you get like a live band playing stuff, or even just an on-site DJ yelling at the crowd or something. I mean, it's not the craziest
No way.
concept.
No way that makes millions. No way that makes any millions. No way that's. You're telling me you're going to do a multi-city tour of a hologram?
Well, they're gonna try.
At the end of the show,
Yeah.
at the end of the show, instead
Oh,
of walking
my
off
God.
stage, they just turn off the lights.
Now, hologram. Tommy.
And good night.
Now, hologram technology is fascinating, but putting it to this use, I don't know that that's as fascinating to me.
Well, we'll hear.
I want them to go back to the interviews, the one that Anderson Cooper did with Will I Am.
Oh, that
I
was
believe
so
during
awesome.
the 2008. I want that back. I think
was
if we're
election
going to
night.
use holograms, yes, I want that. I don't want. I'm not spending $45 to see hologram Whitney
Yeah.
Houston.
I'll pay money to watch
I'll-
Anderson Cooper interview Will
Yes.
I Am like that.
Hey,
Yes,
Denman,
yes.
do you think if hologram Whitney Houston comes to town, we can get hologram Whitney Houston on the show?
I don't know, Travis. Travis, why don't you get your first booking? Travis, get on that. I would love that if Travis like took that as a dead serious assignment. He's like, I'm talking to our hologram publicist right now. Oh man. And then you've got
What are you talking to? I'm emailing hologram Whitney Houston's publicist.
I mean, really, with AI, why not? There it is. So get those emails in, wall@weareliveradio.com. We're giving away a great prize today, so let's ramp it up. $25 to Anthonino's Taverna. Get your toasted rav on. Get your pizza on. Their food's so good there, and we're happy to be able to give that away today.
good.
As far as a poll goes, this
Yeah.
is interesting because it's a loaded poll. What's the melee today, Garzy?
Well, let me show you an image here.
Somebody's
Frisbees.
somebody's nipple covers are painted into
Hey,
a
Chris.
cloud.
Why you gotta joke about it? Why you gotta joke about it?
Or the disc golf course at Sioux Passage Park in
Right.
North County.
Looks like Xena warrior princess throwing her shield.
This is a UFO, gentlemen.
Oh boy.
An unidentified flying object. There's been a number of things regarding.
Why did your voice just go up 3 ranks in the military whenever you started saying that?
Unidentified flying object.
What are you doing?
That's
Yeah,
how you
let's
said
tap,
it.
let's tap out on that one.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know how you do all these voices, Tommy, that are so bad.
Lots of confidence.
Oh,
I know,
boy.
it's amazing. How do you
Sickening.
do that?
Pretty easily.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop,
Man.
please. So what's this? What's the melee?
Okay, so New York Times comes out with a story over the weekend. Hey, fighter pilots, Navy fighter pilots are seeing UFOs again. Here's how the proper procedures are now for how they're going to report them and everything like this. We put this in place several years ago when we showed you the video of Navy fighter pilots seeing UFOs in the sky. That was several years ago.
It was last year.
Last year, actually.
But the original video was from 2015.
Right. So this has all been out there, and then we just keep saying, "Oh yeah, hey,
Fake news.
no, not fake news. It's just we got other stuff happening." And I saw who tweeted about. Someone tweeted something about
Kumail
that.
Nanjiani had
Yes.
a really good tweet about
He
it.
did.
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
exactly what I was thinking. Basically saying we got too much other crap going on. Don't give us this right now. So we're basically just glossing over the fact that here's UFOs. You got an Oxford academic talking about invisible aliens breeding with humans currently. All this kind of news is coming out there. We're just like, no, we got to deal with the guy who's president. We got to deal with all this other crap. So they're just putting it out there. And we're looking at it, we're reading it, and we're not even reacting. No reaction at all. I don't understand that. So I asked this question. When dwelling on the universe, which of these is scarier to think? We're not alone, or we're all alone?
Travis, what would you vote for?
Uh-oh. Frozen
They
Travis.
got him.
Wow.
They got him.
Got
what are your
While
thoughts
we're
on this?
waiting, Kumail Nanjiani's exact tweet that was, there have been so many articles basically confirming the existence of UFOs in the last couple of years, and we're all like, not right now. We're kind of dealing with our own shit.
Yeah.
What do I think? I think that
Why did I ask?
we are
Thanks for
totally
asking,
not
Chris.
alone. This is true. I was really happy when all this stuff came out because when I was in high school, I was on my phone background's an alien. When I was in high school, I was in speech team, and so I had to give an informative speech, and so I chose UFOs as my topic, and my coach didn't want to do it so badly that they refused to coach me, and I wrote an 8-minute speech about it, and I got laughed at every time I did it in the room, and now here we are. I'm fucking right. So.
Yep.
Oh, man.
I know how it feels, Tommy. I know
Yeah.
how it feels. Travis knows how
I'm
it feels.
on board.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely on board with this. I completely understand why people would want to focus on the current state of our government because we're going to need an appropriate way to respond when we finally make contact with another alien life form. Look, they've been
We
here.
already have.
They continue to visit our planet frequently. We know that the government has a documented history of lying and cover-ups. So to think that our government is being completely honest about UFOs is completely naive. And I believe that we need to start mentally preparing ourselves as a society for how do I say this?
Mhm.
Our overlords
Yeah.
taking over.
Boy, you would turn
think
so
you're-
quick. You would give into that. You'd be pointing to where I was hiding behind the couch whenever
No
they
doubt.
bust in.
There is no doubt about it. This is the moment my people have been waiting for centuries. We thought that there was other life forces out there, and you guys are going to have to explain a lot of things, like concentration camps and slavery.
Oh,
So
okay.
good
Wow.
luck
Boy.
explaining that, and I will be over here with the PowerPoint, letting them know that it wasn't our fault at all.
Just prepare yourself then, if that's how it's going to be, Travis. Don't get mad at me when I'm in blackface then. Because I got to fight to
You got to do what
survive.
you got to do in that
Yeah.
situation. In that situation, you got to do what you got to do.
So I hope you understand. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to live. That's all.
What
I'm afraid of dying.
If aliens are walking down the street, blackface won't be a top priority for my community.
All right, so first contact and all that's happening, aliens walking down the street. Who's still going to find something else to be outraged about? Who's the first person?
Oh, well, that's Sean King. Sean King will definitely find something that he would tweet out and let everyone know that the aliens are appropriating something.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I wonder how they handle
give
him.
him time.
What do you think?
We don't know how to handle him, so I'm sure they don't have any answers. Chris,
I
you
think-
believe in aliens, though?
I mean, it just the concept. I mean, it would be silly. In my opinion, at this point, it'd be silly to think it's not
The
a
numbers
reality of some sort or
Yeah.
what that is. I don't know. Now, if you
Who
start
knows?
getting into, it would be freakier at this point. If to the poll question, if it was like, nope, it's just empty, boys. Like this is
That's
it. You're
terrifying.
a weird thing that happened because of another thing on a rock, and this is just an anomaly that's never been seen before. Now, when you start getting into the wormhole stuff, and is it us in the future coming back? What's happening? When you really start kind of looking into everything, it's just like it's not we're not able to grasp
When
it.
you look at like what artificial intelligence is becoming, that's when you really start wondering, wait, we can make things. So maybe it's more tangible than we knew before that, maybe it doesn't have to be a god and all this stuff that makes us. Maybe it's more tangible than that. Yet there are still beings that kind of were our creators.
I saw a documentary on
What's
this,
the
and
likelihood?
Matthew
What do you
McConaughey
guys
saves
think?
everybody.
What's that?
What do you
Travis?
guys think as far as if you had to break it down percentage-wise, the likelihood of you having slept with an alien?
0%.
Well, you have to have sex first, Tommy. So
yeah,
you're
no,
disqualified.
yeah.
So Gardner,
I mean, like,
Denman,
I was
what's the
sexually-
likelihood of the
Trump's classification or NASA's classification? Where are we going
NASA.
here?
Let's go with
homie.
NASA's
Oh,
for
okay,
right now
gotcha.
because I want to
Okay,
make sure we
gotcha.
keep a show after this.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha. I'm gonna lay that at 0%. Lay that.
He's going to say.
Lay that.
I'm gonna say 15%, just because
There were some hazy times in the 90s for
there.
you.
Yeah, well, in the aughts.
And I
We're
think Chris
tough.
lying too. Chris act like
and
I wasn't in college with his ass, but okay.
I
Wait.
say 15 just because, like, I was sexually assaulted by a ghost. So
There, I mean,
All right.
there's
I mean, there's that possibility.
that
then.
claim.
You guys know the Bigfoot theory, right? That Bigfoot's an alien?
Well, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah,
if
so
that's-
like that's what I think is like because like you know you have all these videos and stuff, and then like as soon as they go to try and find the Bigfoot, it's gone, and so a lot of people think that Bigfoot is interdimensional, and that's why he is just there and then
Okay.
gone.
All right. Danny in
I
the
think
comments.
that there may be something to that.
Danny in the comments wants to hear Tommy's 8-minute speech.
I have the transcript.
Actually, I was thinking about that.
I have the transcript.
I was thinking of a new podcast too. This was tossed around the office last week. Politics and Ghosts. Politics and
yeah,
Ghosts.
that's
with Chris Gardner.
Yeah, we could add aliens to that as well.
politics and the paranormal.
Yeah,
That's
P&P.
a better name.
Paranormal politics. What if you get into the politics of the
Ooh.
paranormal?
Politics of the ghosts.
I would like to get have someone in here
Jesus.
to conjure up a ghost of like Abraham Lincoln and say, ghost of Abraham Lincoln, what do you think of today's Republican Party? And then we could get into other paranormal
What do you
stuff.
do?
We
Jesus
could get a
saying? What are you
paranormal or
Jesus saying?
a medium expert in here.
Yeah, maybe that's the play. Just
I know
a
a
new
couple.
podcast idea. I mean, we got a new TV show idea out of yesterday's show, a new movie idea out of yesterday's show, and now a new podcast idea. This has been a productive week, gentlemen.
Oh, Jack Osborne has a new show called Portals to Hell, where he goes and he investigates haunted places that he thinks might be portals to hell. So that's cool.
I've seen that show. It's called Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
But it's got
certainly
Jack Osborne, so it's like Ozzy Osbourne's kid, so it's cool.
I kind of like that twist. I kind of like that
Okay,
twist.
that's fair. You guys get the youth. I don't necessarily.
They investigated.
I don't understand how Chris concluded that without a shadow of doubt that 0% of the women that he slept with were possibly an alien.
Yeah, let's break that
We're
down.
just going to skip over that. You're
Well,
going to really be
after-
honest with me? There are a couple of hillbillies you took home outside of a field house a few times. You telling me you question that?
Which field house? I mean, are we talking an actual barn? Or what year are we talking
A
here?
cow house.
Yeah, cow house.
What's the difference between a field house and a cow house, Travis?
Yeah, there was a chick with big eyes. I'll give you that. There's one with a kind of a lanky body, maybe glowing fingertips. I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe you've got a point. That would explain the hot ratio I've managed to rack up over the years, wouldn't it? They're just like, what's this ape man, and what can I figure out from him?
Hot
So
ratio.
there's
Nice
so there's
humble
that.
brag.
No, that's a full brag. That's a full brag. You should try it sometime. I know you're a very humble man. Pretty good chance you've
I'm
been
amazing.
abducted, had your extracted in an alien test tube, and had your memory erased. Oh, well, Seth changed my mind. I guess I have. Yeah. there it
Also,
is.
let's think about this. They're promoting Men in Black International. So a lot of these stories could be produced by the studio to get everyone excited for the next Men in Black.
The
film.
article I sent Gardner from ABC7 in Los Angeles mentioned that. Oh, and by the way, Ancient Aliens has a special coming out.
10 years
Wait,
of ancient
really? No
aliens.
way.
And this is
10
another
years.
thing where it's like 1,000,000% there is juice behind that. You know,
Hey.
1,000,000%.
You guys think aliens get it on the reg?
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
There's your answer.
There's your answer.
On the reg. So gross.
That's a nice
So gross. Just the way it's said.
callback to yesterday.
That is.
Oh, boy.
On the reg.
So you
That
call
is
a
so
pool.
gross.
That makes my skin crawl hearing the red.
Yeah, it should. The reg.
And I don't know why that's the one that does it to me, but that's the one for some reason. It's weird.
It certainly is. If you've
Because it
had
treats sex like doing dishes.
That's
doing
kind of what it
Ray.
is,
uh,
right?
Tommy, oh my God, Chris, take him to a brothel or something, man.
I'm
To a
good.
Hooters.
I'm
I've
good.
been to a brothel in Brooklyn, Illinois.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't participate,
It's a
but
good,
I was
good part of the
hung out
area.
on the couch with the 60-year-old Asian madam.
that's.
And,
We
and
gotta
what,
get a book
discuss
out of you.
crystals?
No, I've talked about that before. That was the night that Ray Caruth was caught.
I don't know who that is.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Never
Love
forget.
that.
That's how I remember it so well, part of it.
Who is Ray Caruth?
I had two friends that were in back doing whatever they were doing, and then I just sat on the couch watching Sports Center. And Ray Caruth was caught that night, and I was talking to this madam, Asian madam.
Tommy, Ray Caruth was a notable football player for the Carolina Panthers who had a baby mama, and she was pregnant, and he did not want her to go through with the pregnancy. So he hired hitmen to have her killed and the baby killed. She
Jesus
died,
Christ. Oh wow.
but the child lived and continues to live. And Ray Caruth actually was released from prison earlier this year.
Little bit of a wrinkle you left out of that story. The child lived, but due to the injuries and lack of oxygen, severely mentally downgraded. I guess you could say disabled, however you say it.
Mentally disabled.
Did not come out. Yeah, the actions caused the issues with the child. So
But yeah.
horrible story.
That's why I was at a trailer in Brooklyn, Illinois. So.
Well, there you go. What a time to push forward. So get that melee and get your fair fouls in. You can win $25 to Anthonino's. I will remind everybody we've got Comedy Thursday. We have comics from the coasts coming in. That's right, New York and Los Angeles represented this week. Southtown Pub, we've got Kendra Jones, Steve Pace, Meredith Hopping, Nathan Orton, you love him, and TK Kelly. He's a writer for Tosh.0. He does a podcast on all things comedy, and he's coming in to St. Louis, headlining Free Comedy Thursday. And then we just added a woman named Sue Ra, who's coming in from New York, who's going to do a guest spot. So full night of comedy this week, Free Comedy Thursday, 8 p.m. at Southtown Pub. Be sure to visit. And tonight, maybe go watch the Blues up at Southtown Pub, have some smoked wings, and tell them We Are Live sent you. So excited.
We're not
for,
just a baseball town.
We're a comedy and hockey town.
I'm really excited to see TK Kelly.
Are you going to come?
He's gonna be on my show Sunday.
You're not allowed to talk about your shows when it conflicts with ours, though.
It doesn't conflict on Sunday.
Thursday it does.
Yeah,
so
but
that takes the
I
whole
wasn't talking-
weekend out. You
I
can't
wasn't
talk
talking
about it. If you talk
Thursday.
about it, it's over. So
I'm talking
TK Kelly's going to
specifically
do a bunch
Sunday.
of shows. He's a great dude. Met him, and he's a writer for Tosh.0. I'm excited. We'll probably get him in here. Travis, you guys can talk shop about being at the tops of your class.
Cute. He has a show on Comedy Central. Great. Awesome. Good for him. That's awesome.
He's the opposite of Travis. I was like, hey, you should do like a writer's workshop. And he was like, I don't know. I've only been a writer for Comedy Central for 4 years. I don't feel qualified to take people's money to do that. Travis goes to New York for a week, tells us we're all heathens and idiots, and that he's the
Hayseeds and hillbillies.
Yeah, that he's the number one writer of all time.
Actually, I like this.
His words, not mine.
Here's
This is a
another
direct quote from Travis.
Another podcast idea. Travis starts his own podcast from the New York perspective called Hayseeds and Hillbillies and talks about St. Louis. What do you think?
I think it's something that we should certainly workshop, and
Yeah.
I would imagine
shower.
would do very well numbers-wise. No, I don't hate St. Louis. I think St. Louis.
Here comes the condescending talk down. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all. Look,
I don't hate
first
you,
off,
idiots. You're cute in your own
First
little
off,
dumb way.
As I've said several times on this show, the only person to actually grow up and be raised in the city of St. Louis is Travis Terrell. Everyone else in that room can't speak to that. So I can speak to a city I actually grew up in because that's what I did. You all visit. You all transplanted. You all come to work.
How long
That's
did you
why
live in the
you
city of
can
St.
now
Louis?
connect to St. Louis. Let's see, 15 years
And how long have I
In the
lived
Born and
city,
raised
in the city of St. Louis. City of St. Louis.
in the
was
city of
developed?
St. Louis, 15 years. St. Louis area, I've been living virtually almost my entire life.
Right. But I've lived in the
So
city.
I think
in the
I can
city
speak
limits
on the city.
for longer than that now, actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I have at least a decent
But
perspective.
where do you live, Gardner?
The Central West End.
He's the urban of all urbans.
Exactly.
I'm there fighting
He's not
against
urban.
gentrification.
He's like, I've had this anchored down. Get out of here, Whitey.
I know about the city. I'm familiar with the streets.
Yeah.
I love St. Louis, and I think St. Louis does things that should be called out, and I think the whining on Monday was one of those things that needed to be called out.
See, that's
Look,
what you
it's
were
4
just upset
years.
about.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
fine.
I was because it was stupid because it's again, can you imagine dating someone and you two have a positive, happy moment? You have a great night out, and the first thing that your significant other does is run to social media to throw it in their ex-boyfriend's face.
No, that's
You
happened
would
to
be
me
livid.
before.
Yeah, Tommy, I would imagine it would have. But the fact is, it looks bad when you do it. It's even worse when an entire city does it.
Yeah, but you
And
just
it's
don't
an
have to
ugly
care.
look for the city. Sure, but when you have prominent St. Louisans with blue check marks on Facebook and Twitter
Yeah.
crying about we're more than just a baseball town, you kind of look like the hillbilly that you're trying not to be.
What
I
about
don't
what
So
about
know
a,
it's
what
that.
about
silly.
That has nothing
what
to
about
do with
basing
hillbilly.
what about basing a city, a region, an area off of an extremely small slice of specific social media that you follow
That's fair.
that is sports
But
related?
everyone did it. Everyone did it.
That's
Everyone in
not-
your
I didn't
Twitter
do it.
feed did it. Everyone in your Facebook feed did it. And you know it's
didn't.
true. Everyone who was celebrating the Blues on Monday were also throwing their middle finger up at Stan Kroenke. That's you saw it in the articles that people have written about the city. So it's silly to say that that wasn't the case when everyone, Ben Hockman alluded to it, Ben Fredrickson alluded to it. When major scribes in the area that writes for the major newspaper write about it, it has to be the sentiment of the city. So it just seems silly to me to keep coming back to something that is so far removed from what's taking place right now with the St. Louis Blues. Why can't you just celebrate the St. Louis Blues for being the St. Louis Blues?
Because
Why
we're
must you
being
bring in
snarky?
Kroenke into the equation? Well, it looks stupid. Don't you?
No,
You
that-
have to acknowledge it.
No,
It
I
looks
don't,
stupid,
because
right?
people can do whatever they want with that. I mean, they
don't think
get
that's a
they
majority
don't
of
get
people.
like you don't give them like you get 5 years and you can't complain about it anymore. No, you get a really effing long time to complain about it. In fact, maybe
What are we
perpetuity.
complaining about then?
Huh?
Well, what are we complaining about then?
I
What
don't
are we
know. It's
complaining
up to
about?
those people. I don't have to go around telling everyone how they get to react to things. Nor do you.
What kind of liberal are you?
Yeah,
then?
I mean that's not how this works. You don't get to tell people what they get to be pissed off about.
This hour has been.
You
an
can be
emotional
pissed off
roller
about it,
coaster.
but how long are you going to be
And
pissed
but here's the
off?
thing: I don't care what you think about how I look with it. I just don't
You're gonna
effing
kill
care.
him, Travis. You're gonna kill him.
Or nobody else cares either, except for Gaines. That's it. I'm bringing Gaines in tomorrow. I'm gonna call Gaines, see what time
Bring
he's
him
coming
in.
into work.
I've been
wait
waiting to
till-
get. I've been waiting to get his ass back in the studio. Get him, yes.
You guys
know
can
what? If
talk
we have to
about
leave a
that
trail
show that's your
of chicken
Lakers.
Wings, yeah, look. If you had to leave a trail of chicken wings and sub sandwiches just to get him into the studio, then so be it. But I'm sick and tired of you hillbillies that barely know anything. Well, Gaines
my
has a little
God.
bit.
Come on.
Oh
He
my
has a little.
God.
Gaines has a little bit more of a say. Chris, you are from Farmington, Missouri. Don't sit up here and deny your hillbilly.
Am I a hillbilly?
Embrace your hillbilly. Where are you from, Tommy?
I'm from Grand City. Am I a hillbilly?
Thank you. You
What-
of
no,
course
what
you're
makes me
hillbilly.
a
Just because you
hillbilly?
do stand-up comedy,
You're a
doesn't make you
hillbilly,
less of
too.
What's a hillbilly?
You're a hillbilly
What makes
too.
me a hillbilly?
You're in North
buddy?
County. North County's hillbilly territory. I have my family
Look at
roots
you.
there. So calm down there. Oh, I grew up in the city. You know what? I'm going to get personal now, Travis.
Oh, boy.
The only reason you're in New York right now is because you dropped that. You lived in Ferguson when you did your damn
Yep, that's
interview.
exactly
and
it.
then that's,
Yep.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
They're
How's
like-
that feel, hillbilly?
Yeah, Mr. Smith taking your application was like, "Oh, we owe it to this guy." Oh, God. Like, do you know how well this will go if I slip this to the Huffington Post? Oh man.
Call Slate. Call Slate. Oh, we got something.
see. The way y'all responding is hillbilly shit.
No,
That's what
but,
hillbillies
like-
will
It might
do.
be. I got
That's
blood
some
in
hillbilly
Paducah,
shit.
too. Of course it is. I have hillbilly blood. I've been fighting against it my entire life.
You embraced a term named country grammar, you hillbilly. Get out of my face.
Yeah, that's what I told you on
You
Twitter
embrace
yesterday.
country grammar.
I
Look,
told you.
I
Did you
I
just
told-
deny?
Okay,
Did you just
so-
deny country grammar being an extensive part of your teenage years?
country grammar was a part
Backpedal,
of
baby.
my upbringing.
Backpedal, baby. Yeah.
My favorite part of all of this is Gardner's getting really worked up, and I can see him from this angle.
He
and
might
he's just
die.
yelling at a computer screen and pointing
I'm pointing
at it.
at the picture I see.
We have
on
a
my
we have a medical professional. We have a live audience with a man who spent I don't know how many years in school. Poor Dr. Ed from Hillside is here just watching this happen, and I gotta think as a medical professional, he's seeing Gardner's blood pressure rise on his skin, and he's like, if this is a dog, I would highly suggest they take him to my clinic.
Yes.
Like this is a thing.
I'm waiting-
This dog smokes too much.
I'm waiting for Gardner to punch the computer. That's like what I've been waiting for.
I told Travis on Twitter yesterday, like I said just now, you're telling us what to think, how we're supposed to react. I told him you're still upset at Nelly for playing with Florida Georgia Line, that collaboration.
Oh, speaking of
That
that,
still pisses
I
me
don't
off.
care about either of those.
speaking of that,
Pisses me off.
in kind of local news and Nelly news, he's playing in Alton, Illinois at their amphitheater for a
Oh,
big
cool.
show.
I'll go see him.
Yeah. You going to come back for the Alton, Illinois Nelly show, Trav?
See, that's what I mean. See, people from St. Louis always got some shit to say about people who leave St. Louis and go become successful. And now you making fun of Nelly because you're doing a show at Alton. When
No,
your
she's
ass
getting
was the
paid.
main one lining up to go see Destiny Child when they came to your stupid ass Civic Center back in Farmington. But now all of a sudden, because he's performing in Alton, Illinois, you turning your nose up to it. That's
Not
the
at
most
all.
St. Louis thing I've ever heard of. As soon as someone leaves that city and goes on to do anything successful, if they come back and do a small venue, it's, oh, look who's doing a show in Alton. Well, pal, let's see you fill up an arena of 2,000 people in Alton, Illinois.
I
Since
heard
you got so
Alton's
much shit to
haunted.
say about Nelly.
How did that get taken?
Granite
negative?
City, shut your mouth. You don't even know what a Nelly is. You
Nelly's a
stupid
rapper.
corn-fed
Hey,
bum
hey,
ass shirt
hey,
you got on today,
hey.
looking
No,
like
no,
a
no, no,
big
no, no,
ass
no.
hillbilly.
You, though,
Yeah, I'm
you
going
don't get to
after
do
her.
that.
I've
You don't get to do that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you
I
kind
wanna
of just
see-
did with
I
that.
want to see Tommy in a
unity.
fight. No,
Oh,
no. You don't get to do
You
that.
don't get to talk to me like that. I didn't do anything to you. I'm mostly on your
Alton-
side. I'm mostly on your side with these things. And you come at me, calling me hillbilly and corn-fed. Don't do that.
That's
Hey,
Don't
what,
do
New
that.
York
that's what
has
Brooklyn
Brooklyn
form.
bias
New York
does.
has
That's
poor
what East
form.
Coast
New York form.
elitism does.
What is a hillbilly in Travis Terrell's eyes?
People who tell stories constantly about riding horses and getting knocked off one.
He doesn't even fucking know. All right, man.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. Let's
And
take a
Alton-
Cool your
bodega.
jets,
Let's take a
man.
bodega break.
Alton is haunted.
It's a very haunted place. Nelly might perform with a
It's
ghost.
It's a nice river town too. It's actually an interesting town.
We've got a lot to get to this morning. We've got Dr. Ed on the other side. Quick reminder, Getaway Karts is a customized golf cart dealer. They've got club cars, Easy Goes, Yamahas, any brand you can think of they can help you with. Get your belts, clutches, parts, bodies, trims, wraps, brakes, control cables, and parts at getawaykarts.com. Be sure to support another great local business that works with us. You can go say hi to the owner, Joe. Their garage and their office is over in the on Limp in the Benton Park, Soulard area. So very convenient if you're wanting to scoot around on the hill, Soulard, any of the great neighborhoods in St. Louis that Travis turns his nose up to. Be sure to go to getawaykarts.com and see all of their capabilities as well as available carts for purchase today. We'll take a quick break. We're live in St. Louis in Midcoast Studio. Be sure to check out midcoast.media for more information. Quick break. We'll be right back.